It's all in your mind. Whatever you hold in your mind will tend to occur in your life. If you continue to believe as you have always believed, you will continue to act as you have always acted. You will continue to get what you have always gotten. If you want different results in your life, all you have to do is change your mind.
Welcome to MMA's intense and thrilling world, where passion fuels every punch and determination drives every kick. This sport is about more than just combat. It's about the fighters' journeys, struggles, and triumphs. Today, we spotlight the heart and soul of amateur MMA, those who fight not just for victory, but for their dreams. They balance training with daily life, pushing through challenges with unyielding resolve. In the spotlight today is Tyler Saelee, a guest on our series, The Interview. Tyler is gearing up for his upcoming fight at the Convention Center this Friday. Join us now as Tyler shares his story, his dedication, and what drives him to succeed in the cage.
My name is Tyler Saelee, and you're watching The Interview with the 559. And so I started wrestling when I was about 13 years old, 8th grade, and I actually really liked that sport, so I kept doing it all the way through high school. And after high school, I just started working. I didn't really plan on doing any athletic competition, so just working, trying to figure out my life. Just started going to school as well, and then, you know, years passed. I went from 18 to 23 really fast, and I wasn't really satisfied with the jobs I had, and I just felt like I needed to do something to push me, so I started training, and actually I started training for just fitness, really. I wasn't really planning on fighting yet, but it was something that was always in my mind that thought I would like to do. So I started training with Darren Crisp, and maybe about a year in, he suggested that I do a kickboxing fight, so that's what we did. I didn't end up winning that point kickboxing match, but I did pretty well, landed some nice shots, had a lot of fun in there. Realized a lot of stuff I needed to work on, and then we did another one. That one went well. Didn't win, but it still went well. And then from there, he just suggested I go to MMA because my style was better suited for that. And in August 2023, that was my first MMA fight. You know, going into that fight, I was really excited, but I definitely got the fight nerves once we were backstage, just waiting to fight. So all the nerves just kicked in, and just all these thoughts kicked in. All this pressure started building up. You know, I probably had like at least 100 family and friends coming out to the rawhide. It was hot. I was feeling the weight cut a little bit, and just started seeing my opponent hitting the pads, warming up, and I was like, man, he's cracking those pads. Like, that might be my face. I'm like, I might get knocked out cold in front of everybody, and like a lot of people that know me, all my family, my friends, in my own hometown. And I'm like, dude, what if I get cracked with one of those first 10 seconds, I'm out cold. But that's just something you gotta learn to deal with, you know. So I accepted it in my head. I was like, if that happens, that happens. But that's the only way I'm losing this fight if something crazy happens, because there's no way this guy prepared better than me. There's no way he worked harder than me, and I knew I was better skilled everywhere. So I just knew the only way I lose is something crazy happens, and I could accept that going in. So once our fight got called up, all those nerves started running through, and the way he was earlier in the day at the weigh-ins, I felt like he was being really disrespectful, trying to intimidate me, but I really didn't care at all. It just added more fuel to the fire, really. And then, you know, once I started walking out, when they called my name, it just really kicked in there, and everything I worked for, it just, you know, was finally started coming into fruition right there. All the stuff I envisioned was unfolding into my reality right there in front of my face. And when they called my name in the cage, it was a lot of emotions. I just felt so happy and excited to be there, and all that hard work I put in to be there, I knew it was going to be worth it. So as soon as the fight started, I just ran in there and did a jumping like karate kick that we never worked on, and my coach was just like, "What are you doing?" And then you know, we just kept fighting, and things were just going my way in the grappling, and so we kept it there. Second round, my toe was all messed up, just popping left and right like a clock, and I just told myself to push through it, so I used that same foot to kick, and then I just took him down again, and then just beat him up on the ground. Third round came, and had the same exact game plan, and I did it all the third round. Just took him down, punched him, and we got in a rear naked choke with 7 seconds left. And that feeling was a really good feeling, man. I don't know how to explain it. It's I only feel that feeling when I fight and get the W, or that same feeling kind of like when I had my kid. It's just a different sense of joy, and that's the only time you really feel that emotion is from the fight. But then, you know, moving forward, going into my second fight, I was fighting a pretty good fighter, good wrestling. Southpaw threw me off a little bit. He was pretty lanky. His name was Darian Perez. Actually, I still think that was my toughest opponent to this day. The guy I fought in my second fight. He actually dropped me the first round, and it was a crazy feeling getting dropped like that. I just heard everybody screaming, and my eyes open. It was like, felt like I went to sleep for a split second. My eyes open on the ground, and I was just getting punched in the face. And I was just like, man, I gotta get out of here. And then I survived the first round. Second round came. I think he used all his energy the first round, so he was gassed. Second round, I just worked my game, striked a little bit. We ended up clashing, so I put him on the cage and just kneed him in the body over and over because I knew he was tired, and I knew those body shots were gonna wear him down. And third round came. We started striking, and he actually initiated a clinch and tried to take me down, but I ended up reversing position, and same thing, just dirty boxing on the cage and knees. And then last 10 seconds, I just took him down and got the W in that one as well. Then my third fight, I moved up a weight class to fight, his name was Vlad from Team Alpha Male, and he was coming off of a nice highlight reel knockout, so I thought that would be a good fight. And that fight, I would say I won the first 2 rounds. It was a little slower pace, but a lot of cage work, a lot of grueling cage work, a lot of knees. And in the third round, I was going into there feeling pretty gassed, and my plan was to take him down because I was like, man, I'm feeling it a little bit. So third round comes, and then we were fighting on the feet. I put him on the cage again. He got out, and I'd say about the last 20, 25 seconds, he got me, man. He was beating me up those last 20, 25 seconds, and then we ended up getting a draw. I believe it was like 28-28 on the scorecards, and I learned a lot from that fight. I learned I need to be more aggressive and that I needed to work on my cardio a lot more because I never wanted to feel that tired again in a fight, especially going into the third round with only 2-minute rounds. I knew there was no way I should be getting tired. So, fourth round came. I fought at 70 again against Michael Ramirez. Really exciting fighter. He also comes to Bay. So I was excited for that one. And when we fought, he came out a lot different than I expected. I thought we were going to throw a lot more hands, so it threw me off. But he was really tall and rangy, so I was really cautious. And he actually shot for a takedown. And so I was actually really okay with that because I knew I was better in the wrestling, but he definitely was a lot stronger than I expected. And he had some pretty good jiu-jitsu on the ground with his range. Long limbs, caught me in a triangle. It was pretty tight, but I was safe there. And then, you know, that fight was a lot of grappling, pretty grueling, so it was really tiring, but got my hand raised in the end, and then got a title shot to fight Abe Del Toro in my last fight at 155 pounds. That one didn't go my way. I believe he dropped me in the first round, and then the rest of the fight just out-wrestled me and controlled the fight like that. And, you know, I learned a lot from that one. I felt like I could have definitely won that fight if I would have just been a little more aggressive. But also there's me learning things about myself in there that I was way more durable than I ever thought. I just realized, like, man, I should just be a lot more aggressive because I'm not going to get knocked out unless it's a perfect hit, because I got cracked so many times and really nothing fazed me at all. So I just realized I need to be more aggressive, take a little more risks in there, and also work on things outside of the fight, like my diet. Had a hard weight cut, but that's definitely no excuse. So this time, got a lot better on my diet. Weight's coming off a lot easier. So I learned a lot from that one, not only in the fights and what I need to work on in the cage, but also what I need to work outside of the cage.
Give me a sample of your meals. How much do you really consume? Give me a shot of your breakfast.
I change it up day by day, but right now I eat no more than 1,900 calories throughout the week. But on the weekends I taper down to like 17. And in this fight week following, well, not this fight week, but this week heading into fight week, which is next week, I'm gonna stay around 1,700 the whole week. And for breakfast, I usually just have simple stuff, just like eggs, Greek yogurt. Sometimes I'll have some bread and jam with that, just to get some carbs in. You know, because especially with the old school wrestling mindset, we always thought we couldn't have any carbs and sodium. So this time around with the diet plan, with a little more knowledge in the nutrition, I realized I could have the carbs and sodium, and I do need them for fueling my sessions. So I basically my diet revolves around my training, and that's how I also schedule my eating.
Over the years, how has your training evolved? What are some of the key disciplines you focus on in your preparation?
The training, I'd say, has evolved day by day since I started training. I've been getting better day by day, as long as, you know, there's no injuries, nothing like that. The things I like to focus on more, especially in the beginning, were my striking, of course, and just working off my back as well, working jiu-jitsu, because pretty comfortable with the wrestling. It could always get better, but definitely comfortable there, pretty knowledgeable there. A lot of it's just instinct from all the wrestling I did, but a lot of striking, working a lot of striking, a lot of ground game, complete ground game, not just wrestling, and just everything based for MMA, striking for MMA, wrestling for MMA, jiu-jitsu for MMA. It's a little different than when you're doing each discipline individually.
Career highlights. Reflecting on your career so far, what would you say has been your most memorable fight and why?
My most memorable fight has to be my first one, just because of the energy I felt, and just finally putting my dream into reality. Just everything I envisioned for like the 3 years before my first fight, just to see it finally happen in my actual life, it was a great feeling, especially in the moment.
Team dynamics. Could you talk about the role of your coaching team and training partners? How do they help you prepare for each fight?
Everybody plays a part in team dynamics, and helping each other get better. So my main coach, Darren Chris, he's the backbone of all this, and he's the reason why we have all this. There's other, gyms out here, coaches, but I just feel for things I want to do and accomplish, and the things I feel like I need to be the best version of myself, I feel like Darren Chris brings that. And there's a lot of like-minded people here, people who work just as hard, have the same goals, and everyone here is making each other better. The way I see it is, the better everyone around me gets, the better I'm going to get. The better I get, the better everyone else around me gets. And we just keep raising that bar together and that standard. Everyone's just getting better each time, and we all just keep evolving through hard work and showing up for each other. Even, like, if there's something I need to work on, we have so many different styles here and people with their strengths. So if I need to work on the ground more, then my coach is going to put me with someone who is going to be really good on the ground. If one of my teammates needs to be put on the wall and deal with a lot of wrestling, my coach might put me on them so I could put a lot of wrestling on them. So we're all here to help each other get better, and that's what we've been doing.
Your mental preparation. Fighting at this level requires as much mental strength as physical prowess. How do you prepare mentally for a fight? And do you use any specific techniques to enhance your mental resilience?
Mentally preparing for a fight, I'm just, every single day, I don't know how many times a day, but honestly, it just feels like throughout the day, just plenty of moments throughout the day when you have a fight coming up, you're just constantly thinking about it. And I'm just always thinking positive, thinking about how I'm going to win, what I'm going to do to win, envisioning many different scenarios, and just mentally preparing myself for pretty much war, just staying battle ready. It's always nice to get a finish. Of course, everyone wants to get a finish, but in my mind, I'm always thinking the whole duration of a fight, grueling battle the whole time, just ready for anything. And I always just envision myself winning, getting my hand raised at the end. And no matter what happens, because there's just no quitting me, and whatever it takes to win, we're just going to have to go through it, and I'm willing to go through whatever I have to do to get my hand raised.
Without giving away your strategy, what are your thoughts on how your opponent's strengths and weaknesses? How have you tailored your prep work to address these?
My opponent, his name is Mark Viviano. He's a tough, durable fighter, good jiu-jitsu, good pressure. But I've been working a lot of boxing and a lot of MMA grappling, defending, submissions, cage work and strong positions for me for offensive MMA grappling. But really, you know, I just plan on hitting him in the face as much as possible. That's really my game plan, and I don't mind sharing that because, you know, I don't really care if he knows that either. I'm just going to come forward, and my plan is just to punch him as hard as I can, as much as I can in the face, as many times. And I'm sure he's going to try to do the same thing. And, you know, all respect to Mark Mariano. Seems like a cool guy, and he's a pretty exciting fighter. But, you know, I'm coming to bring it. I'm sure he is, and I'm ready, and I'm excited. But just can't wait, man.
Fight week rituals? Do you have any pre-fight rituals or routines that you follow in the week leading up to the event?
The week leading up to the event, I actually just like to chill as much as possible, conserve all my energy as much as possible. I like to watch movies, chill with my son, and usually the night before or 2 nights before, or I'd say 2 days before, I'm always watching like Rob Van Dam movies. Not Rob Van Dam. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Rob Van Dam's from WWE. Jean-Claude Van Damme movies and watching funny movies. I just like to chill as much as possible and actually just get my mind off the fight for a little bit so I'm not stressing about it the whole time.
Looking ahead, finally looking beyond this fight, what are your goals for the future in MMA? Are there any specific fighters you aim to compete against or titles you're targeting?
My goal in MMA is to go as far as I can. I'd like to fight for the UFC or one championship. Those are the 2 promotions I'd be willing to, or not willing, I'd love to fight for. UFC, of course, is the gold standard in MMA. Everybody knows it's like the NFL, football, NBA, basketball. That's the place you want to go to prove yourself, to prove that you're the best if that's what you want to do. But there's also one championship where it's a huge following as well in Asia. They have just as much fans as the UFC over there, and they're just as big over there. And they have a lot of different sports there. Actually, they have jiu-jitsu, they have Muay Thai, they have kickboxing, and they have MMA. So that's also something that's cool. And I'd like to fight for either of those. And then, you know, when I'm done fighting, I'd love to be doing with basically like what my coach is doing. You know, he was an ex-fighter. Now he's coaching fighters and helping them. And, you know, we started in the garage. Now he has his gym. So it's cool to see that happening. Everything just unfolding.
Who's your favorite MMA UFC fighter? Why?
Right now, I'd say Max Holloway is my favorite just because he's probably the biggest entertainer. He comes to fight all the time. He'll fight anybody. And, you know, his backstory, the stuff he comes from, you know, had a hard but really humble beginnings and never has any excuses for anything. So I think he's just probably one of the best examples there is for a true fighter.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you were inspired by Tyler Saeelee's story and his unwavering dedication. Don't miss his fight this Friday at the Convention Center. Stay tuned for more compelling stories on The Interview.